got him?
Yeah.
Oh.
Explain that later,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hit that old gavel job.
We're waiting for the go.
We're good? All right. I'll call to order the Vermilion County Council meeting for February. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, roll call. Mr. Reynolds?
Here.
Mr. Weir?
Here.
Mr. Somerville?
Here.
Mr. Bush?
Here.
Mrs. James, I'm here. Mr. Dreer?
Here.
And Mr. Brown.
Here.
All right. First item on our agenda this evening is the approval of minutes. We have our minutes from our January 10th meeting. Does anyone have any additions or corrections or comments they'd like to make on those? Do you have one?
Pardon?
You have it.
No, I remember in the meeting, I was looking to see, I thought I seen it in here, where Mr. Krug spoke about that loan being 5 years, and actually we put that in play in December of 2015. So it'd be actually 7 years or whatever now.
I think it's 7. Okay, he said he were in 5 years, but did he say 5 years?
Mhm.
He did in the meeting that night.
Okay. Well, if that's what he actually said, that we had to leave that in the minutes, but we can just basically verbally state that it's actually 7.
Well, as long as everybody
Yeah.
knows, I think that's the important part, you know, how much time's left on it.
Okay. Okay, is there anything else? Anything else?
I make a motion to accept the minutes, Brenda.
Right.
I'll second.
I have a motion from Mr. Dreer, a second from Mr. Brown to approve the January 10th Vermilion County Council meeting minutes. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Minutes are approved. All right, next we have the treasurer's report. Are there any questions regarding the treasurer's report? Any questions?
No.
All right. Please note that we did receive it. And the comp time report is next. Any questions or comments regarding comp time?
I just like to say that I know some of it's increased because of the highway, but the inclement weather we've had here in the past few weeks, I think the boys done a remarkable job with our roads and things out there.
They have. We appreciate their help.
Yeah, I'm not sure that the hours were on this report, but they did do a remarkable job, so we might see them on.
Yeah, I bet they'll be on the next.
Yeah, but
Mhm. Yeah, 'cause that happened the first week of February.
mm-hmm.
So it'll be on the next one.
120.
Yeah. All right. Any questions? Anything else? Okay, we'll move on. The next item is transfers, and there is one transfer in your packet today. It's solid waste. They were just correcting some account numbers on that. Anyone have questions regarding solid waste? Okay. Or, I'm sorry, not solid waste, soil and water. My apologies. Okay. Moving along, we have our transfers for this evening, or I'm sorry, additional appropriations. I just did transfers.
Get rid of it,
I know. Too much chocolate today. All right. Our first one is an additional appropriation from the Health Department. It is for $5,000 for attorney and legal fees. Wendy, are you here for that one?
And our president of our board pays
Okay.
You guys both come on up if you want to then. Yeah, we have questions. You're not on the board, right?
Nope. I am
You
not.
are?
Yeah, I'm current president.
Would you mind explaining to us and the Vermillion County taxpayers why this lawyer was necessary?
Yes, we're trying to appoint the health officer and the commissioners.
I know all
Yeah,
that.
okay. And we asked for a meeting with the county attorney and set it up for his convenience. And he didn't show, didn't call, so we needed some guidance.
Guidance for what?
For what our
How to
actions.
appoint somebody?
Well, we followed the rules and
And they said no?
they said no.
And you could not appoint somebody else without getting an attorney?
We wanted to make sure we were following the statute and what we were supposed to do.
So that's your answer for
Yes.
the taxpayers for $5,000. That's the only reason you used it. It's not for future.
Well,
needs?
it's not $5,000, it's just the amount we ask. We don't know what he's gonna charge yet. He said he's gonna charge the same as the county attorney charges.
So you don't know what the cost per hour is?
Whatever the county attorney charges, which I was informed was $60 an hour, and I did let Jim know that.
And how many hours does he work?
We have not received a bill yet.
Aren't you a little premature then?
Well, we needed something in the budget when we did receive it. This was just an amount that was, we don't know the cost yet. So the president and I sat down and that's the amount that she got. But this is coming out of cash. We're
It's
not
coming out of
asking.
taxpayers' money.
Well, I understand that, but this is something that the board felt they needed to do.
And nobody else felt that, right?
That was the board's actions.
Who does the board answer to in this county?
They're the health board. They make the
So they're
decisions.
appointed by the
They're
commissioners?
appointed by the county commissioners,
And then you
yes.
make your own decisions?
Mhm.
Well, I got a lot of problems with it. I don't think you need an attorney to go up against your own commissioners to appoint somebody. Well, we'll see how the taxpayers feel about it, and then we'll go from there, huh?
So you're requesting just a blanket amount until you get
Yes,
these?
yes.
And John couldn't answer these questions for you.
We called on John. He did not answer our questions. And I actually reached out to John about another issue that the county health department is having with a employee, and I was informed to contact our attorney and our board.
You don't have an attorney.
That's what he responded back to me. I have it in email.
Have we had questions like that before that have been answered?
Yes, John has answered all of our questions that we've had prior to that. And this situation with an employee was prior to all of this. It's went on prior since October of last year.
Well, I think everybody knows why you guys hired this attorney. Well, I'm not gonna say, because I don't wanna get myself in trouble, but I think the taxpayers also know why you hired this attorney.
Woody, would you be opposed, like, table this issue till you get a bill so we pay
No,
that bill?
I don't have an
Instead of,
issue. Yeah,
Instead of just arbitrarily give you the $5,000, table this, and when you get the bill, we vote here tonight whether to pay that bill.
sure.
Up
I mean, I don't have
to
an
that
issue.
amount of money, but hopefully it's a lot less than that.
Right,
Oh,
yes.
yes.
We would hope so,
Yeah.
yes.
I'm not gonna vote to do that until we talk to John about it.
Well,
You
If
what?
we table it, you don't have to.
That's what I say, but didn't you just say you wanted to go ahead and approve the money and then we'll?
No,
He
he
didn't.
wanted to table it,
Table this issue
to
until we
see
get the
what the
bill.
bill could be.
If we motion to table it, we'll just basically wait until they
Sure.
have their actual information.
We've got more
But we'll have to
about it.
vote to table it.
Do you see a possible more use of this attorney, or just go back to the way you used to do it?
We have to have somebody guide us in certain
Okay.
areas, such as like Kim uses him a lot. I've had to call him on certain situations. So we do need legal guidance on certain areas,
So
yes.
you're saying you want to use this attorney and not John, or
No,
whatever?
I'm not saying anything. I mean,
Okay.
I don't have that authority.
But-
We just needed
Previously,
something.
you've
Yes.
talked to John,
Mhm.
and then he hasn't.
Possibly moving forward.
Sure, I mean, I don't have an issue with that. It was just when I asked for an opinion on a certain employee, I reached out to the HR, I talked to, lost train of, yeah, Leanne, and she sent the email to John, and we both got a response back that we are to talk to our attorney and our board.
Okay.
That was the response, but we have no issue with
Did
John.
you have an attorney at that time? When you got that response back?
Yes.
That's the
Well,
issue.
that's not this situation was different. This was
Okay.
an employee prior to all of this situation happening.
But if you have, ethically, if I have,
If you have,
if I know somebody has a
Conflict.
lawyer, I'm not supposed to talk directly
Sure.
to them. They have to, that may have been his issue. I
Sure.
don't know, I'm just,
Yeah.
when you said that, I thought, well, maybe that's his issue.
Right.
And we can maybe clarify with him then to see, going
Absolutely.
further, if you don't have an attorney, if he can answer these questions
Yep.
again.
Yeah, moving forward is like streamline this and save money.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not an issue.
Okay.
so you are looking for an itemized,
Yes. Bill, statement from him? Yes, absolutely. Mhm.
And you say this attorney was helpful to you in selecting this person, Dr. Market? And is,
He didn't help us select her, he just guided us on what the statute said and what our role was to do it. What we were supposed to follow, make sure we were following what we were supposed to.
Did the state have any advice?
They
on
would
that?
not give us any advice.
Who was that again?
The state? I
Oh,
didn't know.
state.
They
Since
would,
it's
they
the-
would give us no direction.
Okay. Well, if we decide to table it, we will need a motion to table tonight.
Yeah, I make a motion to table it for the time being.
All second? We all second? All second?
yeah, we all do.
Okay.
You what?
We all do.
I didn't hear him.
He said we all do. So I have a motion to table for Mr. Dreer and a second for Mr. Brown to table the health department's request for their $5,000. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. All right. So the appropriation has been tabled, and then when you have your final invoice, just bring it back
Yep.
to us and
Sure
we'll
will.
talk again. All right, thank you.
What about the other?
Oh,
We
yes,
have
yes,
several.
you have more grants.
We have.
Sorry.
several.
You're right, you are next again. Too much sugar today. Okay. Right. The next additional appropriation is the Emergency Preparedness Grant number 8111. It's for a total amount of $26,577.87. This is to set up their grant preparedness for 2021 and 2022.
This grant runs through June 30th.
Yes. So this is setting up the last 6 months.
Motion.
All right, I have a motion for Mr. Bush.
I'll second.
That's something we do every year, isn't it?
Mhm. Yeah.
Are there any other questions? Any further discussion? Okay. I have a motion for Mr. Bush, second for Mr. Brown, to approve the emergency preparedness grant appropriation. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, state no. That appropriation is approved. The health department has another one. This is the Community COVID-19 Testing Grant, number 8133. This is their grant money left over from 2021 to be carried forward. It's for a total of $87,676.33.
It's a being just grant money, I'd make a motion we allow.
I'll second that.
I got a question about it.
Okay. Now's the time.
Are you always available for testing every
Yeah.
day?
3 days a week.
3 days a week, so if they're sick in between, they do what?
They go to the Precision, they can go to Walmart, I think is testing, there's other places that do test.
So they could do that at any time? I know this ain't anybody's fault, but we are $30 trillion in debt in this country, and this is a good reason why. Everybody wants to call it free money, but it's far from free money.
Is this the federal or state grant?
This one is coming directly from the state.
State. Okay.
Who got it from the federal, right?
I assume that's where it came from.
Maybe picked up a tree, maybe.
But if we don't get it, somebody else does.
Well, yeah,
That's what we gotta look at too.
Well, and prior discussions we've had, I know the state kind of told you guys you pretty much have to do it.
We basically don't have a choice. And I mean, we do have people coming in for testing. We have, I mean, not just testing, but vaccines, so. And also, we're having kids now start to come in. They're getting ready to lower all that, so.
I'm fine with testing if he was available all the time for it, but it's the vaccines I have an issue with.
The only issue we're having is staffing. We don't have people during the day that can come in and test. I have one tester, that's it, and she's working 3 days a week.
You can't find anybody or you can't afford anybody.
Well, yeah, we'll bring
You-
people
you
in,
need
it's
somebody
just.
qualified to do it.
Right,
Okay.
well, I mean, anyone can come in and do it, but this, you know, there's training you have to do.
Yeah.
And if they want to do it, it's not actually a job that everybody enjoys doing.
Sure.
So she does it, and I mean, we have other people that do it through the evening hours, but she's the one that comes in 3 days a week during the day. We have to have testing during the day.
Okay. Any further discussion? All right, I have a motion from Mr. Dreer, a second from Mr. Weir, to approve the community testing grant fund, the leftover money. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. Appropriations approved. And the last one for the Vermillion County Health Department is for their COVID-19 vaccine grant fund for 2022. It's their leftover grant money from 21 to be carried forward for a total of $87,463.
Motion to allow.
I have a motion. Second.
I'll second it.
Is there any further discussion? All right, with no discussion, I have a motion from Mr. Bush, a second from Mr. Reynolds, to approve the COVID-19 vaccine grant fund for 2022. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, state no. Appropriations approved.
All right,
Thank you, ladies, very
and I will
much.
get you that invoice as soon as I get it.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Our next is solid waste. It's $230 additional appropriation. Last year, we appropriated money to solid waste to pay their bills out of their funds in their account. When they went to go pay them, there was an additional invoice that had already been paid, so we were short $230. So this is the $230 coming out of their funds to pay it.
This is just a residual?
Yeah, like we had thought we had approved enough to cover all of the bills, but there had been an invoice in the meantime from the account balance to our meeting date that had gotten paid. So at that meeting, we were actually $230 short and didn't know it.
So this should take care of it?
This will take care of it.
Okay.
I'll make a motion.
I guess the only thing I don't understand
Oh,
is,
I have a motion on the floor.
Okay,
I need
I'm
a
sorry.
second or then I can. Okay, sorry. Now there's further discussion.
she's got 16,316.54. Is that the total that we're spending or spent, or that's just the balance?
balance.
That's the balance of the
Balance of
fund.
the fund,
Mhm.
okay.
Any other questions?
No,
Okay,
sorry.
no problem. All right, I have a motion for Mr. Brown, second for Mr. Bush, to approve the $230 solid waste appropriation. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, state no. Appropriations approved. And our last additional appropriation this evening is also from solid waste. They received $5,000 in a donation. They are just, we've got to appropriate into their account so it can be spent from their account. It was for the Toxway Day. We received $5,000 from the Soil and Water
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? I have a motion from Mr. Brown, a second from Mr. Weir, to approve the $5,000 donation from Soil and Water for Toxaway Day. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, state no.
Aye.
Appropriations approved. All right, that is the end, of our additional appropriations. For new business tonight, we have a discussion on, the bonds for the county. To do there's a discussion of having a blanket bond or individual bonds. Currently, we do individual bonds, but it's been brought up for discussion of whether or not we would like to do a blanket bond. And Scott has a little bit more information on us, for us on that.
This came up last year. I talked to John Spur about it, and we both thought it was a good idea, I think, and then we kind of forgot about it because it was already taken care of, and now here we are this year, and it's come up again. So, right now, we have a lot of people who have to have a bond, elected officials, different people who handle money. We have different boards. Some boards don't require bonds. Some boards do. Reuse Authority members have to be bonded. Redevelopment commissioners have to be bonded. I don't know what other boards have to be bonded. Of course, all you have to be bonded. And the state has a law that allows, at the county council, if the county council approves it, you can buy either a blanket bond that covers positions. So instead of covering, Ashley James as a redevelopment commissioner, you cover all 5 members of the redevelopment commission. And then if one person resigns, their replacement is automatically covered. Or you can actually also, which I think we may already have, a crime insurance policy. It's also the kind of policy that covers against employee theft and that kind of thing. That can be, with your approval, be used as the bond for all elected officials and employees. You also have the authority to set the amounts of the bonds. There are minimums and maximums, but you have the discretion to set the bonds for other elected officials in between those things. The idea here is that it might be more, first of all, I think it'd be more streamlined, instead of all these this board trying to remember, we gotta get our bonds done, we gotta call this person and get this done. You have a bond that covers everyone all the time, all year long. You also avoid the issue of this person resigned from the Reuse Authority Board, we're going to appoint this person to replace him, now we got to get him bonded, can he go to a meeting before he's bonded? I don't know this, but I suspect it'd be cheaper too. Instead of everybody going out and buying their own, procuring their own individual thing, and then when Neil stepped down, we had to, get a bond for Mr. Reynolds, and every time we're doing that, we're paying somebody a little bit of commission on top of whatever the premium is, and it seems like if we bought one thing that lasted all year, just kept it going, we'd probably save money. I don't know that, but I suspect so.
So this would be something we could do for next year, because individual bonds have already been bought for 2022. So we can potentially have that.
We need to
Sounds
talk
good.
to our insurance people about it, because there are different agents. Some agents, we have, Terry Williamson writes some bonds for different people, but we also have
RT Insurance.
and we also have, I think we have, I bet you we have employee theft coverage through
I think we do.
general liability insurance policy. And it may be that we already have the policy in place through them, and we may
We
just
just
need to
don't
make
know it.
tweaks to it. But we have to have an ordinance from the county council that approves doing it that way. So
Could we do that like at budget time, since it'll be close to the end of the year, maybe have that?
I just don't want to forget about it.
No, I've got it
So-
written down, we are not gonna forget about it.
Makes your life better.
Yeah.
I would entertain that going to the blanket bond, but I would like to see what the difference in the cost factor is versus individual versus blanket.
Right.
We're gonna cut out manpower evidently, by going with a blanket.
Well, the thing is like, I renewed Neil's in October, the end of October, he resigned, so his was, I'd already paid for it, so it wasn't any good, so
Right.
then I had to get bills, so his is gonna last for the end of the year, so it'd just be better if we had the blanket bond than we having separate ones.
Plus getting them from everybody, they might have.
I don't
Yeah, we'll
disagree
see
with that
what
at all, I
it
just
Just
like
need
to
a price.
See what the
kind
cost is.
of weigh that out.
Yeah, and I don't know, that's, and it may be, like I said, I'd be curious if our existing
Georgia.
policy with MJS already has what we need.
Right.
And so it may not cost us anything more, we just would not have to buy those individual bonds, so, you know, I don't know yet, Randy, we need to look into it, but if you guys are interested in doing it, we'll look into it.
Yeah, I mean, we give you that 6 figures all the time to work for us. Maybe you can check into that, see where we're at before the end of the year.
I'll take 30% of what you say.
He knows something.
Here's my 10%.
You take 10, there you get your own 10. So we will look into that. Terry Williamson was out all month, so
I
we have
put a call into George today, so.
So.
we'll see what
And we know
Thank
what
you.
we've spent the last 3 years.
Yeah, it's hard to track, it's a little hard to track because like, you know,
Each
reuse
person-
buys theirs and redevelopment buys its own one, and then I don't know.
They
Would it be
actually
less
filter
money to
through
give
here,
them?
but I
Yeah,
really
yeah, I
don't know
guess
the
I
price
agree.
on everything, but yeah.
And I don't know, like,
We'd
if
have to
area
get that
plan
money back.
commissioners have to be
So we're
bonded,
not
I don't
spending more
know.
than they're making more.
Right.
We're covering it for them.
Sure.
I don't know.
At least we can look into it and see what, make sure we get it done.
Absolutely. That's a good idea.
Thank you, guys. All right. Well, that is the end of the items on our agenda. Is there any public comment for this evening? All right, no comments? All right. I will accept a motion to adjourn unless there's any other comments from anyone else.
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
I will second. I'll second it all right.
All right, all those in favor?
Right.
All right, meeting's adjourned.